Thanks for joining us. It is time for Elko Live today, and our guest in studio in time for our monthly update from the Terrace at Ruby View, our Senior and Active Lifestyle Center. It's Matt McCarty, Director Matt McCarty. It's great to see you, Matt.
It's always good to see you as well, Lori. Thank you very much, and we appreciate the opportunity to be able to come and visit with your listeners and with our community.
Well, thank you. I know this is they're all busy months, and it's just great to see the membership growing. You're just adding members by the stacks.
Yes, ma'am, we are, and we one of the grants that we have, we need to track how many individual people that we served, and in the months of September through January, I want to say we served about 850 individuals during those months, and then just last month we served more than 650. So individual, unique people. It's nice to see that. We like seeing that we're helping people, and this is also just the meals portion of it. We have a number of people that come in just for activities, and they don't stay for meals. So let's see here. I just pulled up the stats. So it was 865 people September through January, and then 628 people just last month. So to be able to serve individual meals to 628 individuals, it's wonderful that we're able to help them, and it's also wonderful that we get as much support from the community as we do.
Well, certainly setting the standard for civic service and community outreach. Matt, it's a terrific venue. It's a place where people feel comfortable, and they're hosting any number of clubs and events and activities, from music to, I saw a presentation from Fish last night at City Council, and they're delivering produce on wheels and meals for seniors, additional staples, food items.
That's right. Yeah. It's great to be able to do that. In fact, for the listeners, that you're getting a sneak peek or a sneak preview, I guess. Our Produce on Wheels is changing the days in which they come, and so we're excited for that. They will now be coming in on Wednesdays, and that's taking place in May. I was thinking that it was the 15th, but then when I looked at it, I was like, well, wait a minute, maybe that's not quite that the same as that. So second Wednesday in May, and from now on, it will always be the second Wednesday. So in May, that'll be the 8th. And we're looking forward to that. Yeah,
it was great to hear Tia Ballard and Sherry Smith describing all the outreach they're doing, but not surprised at all that the Terrace is one of their favorite collaborators in this project, because there are a lot of seniors. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it may be too many, but I thought that I heard something like 85, that they were serving 85 seniors, and it could be not just at your center, but at the housing developments that they visit as well.
Yeah, and so their program on that is more specific to their numbers and the boxes that they're able to put together through a number of variety of different donors and grants that they have as well. And so it's terrific that they're able to, again, help supplement and make the community healthy. Because if the community's healthy, if every individual is just a little bit healthier in our community, then our whole community as a whole is healthier, and it benefits everyone.
Oh, you're right, Matt. I found that number at 65 clients a month, and that's just a particular to elderly or senior members. And so it's wonderful that we're taking care of our senior citizens, for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I believe those are actually most of those are separate from the pantry items that we have as well, because their boxes are much more robust. They have a lot more items in it, and more perishable items, whereas ours are more shelf stable. The pantry that we have, a whole lot of canned goods. In fact, the only perishable items technically are the cheese and the butter. We have crackers, and eventually crackers go bad, but I mean, they're saltine crackers. They don't, it takes them a while.
Yeah, it's not going to sit around a long time. So,
right,
yeah.
Right. And so yeah, it's great to see that, and to be able to refer people back to Fish when we know that they are truly in desperate need, because we can't always provide for them what it is that they're looking for. We can get them the meal, and they're welcome to come up for lunch anytime, but beyond the lunch, if they need something for their home and they need something to get by between lunches, then yeah, it's great that Fish is able to offer that.
And I'm glad, Matt, that even, with your help, we can just underscore the fact that it is a caring community, and we are trying to alleviate these issues. We have nationwide concerns, and obviously with inflation, we're, not hearing the best of news with gas going up and the cost of housing, and especially rent and groceries too. So that's why we're seeing such an increased need.
It is, yes, absolutely. And that was why the William and Pennington Foundation helped us to get the first senior pantry started, or at least to get the senior pantry first started this most recent time. I don't know the history of how often the senior center may have done something. And of course, during COVID, we had some ability there as well. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints did a tremendous job of bringing in semis full of canned goods, and we got cases upon cases of food that we were able to get out through COVID. So that was, of course, something a little bit separate than what we're doing now. But it also helped us to figure out what was going to work for us and what isn't. The great thing about Fish is they will give out everything that they get, but the other part of that is that you don't always know what you're going to get. And so we recognize that those that need more robust food packages, we wanted to have Fish be able to do that. And on ours, it's more like a grocery list, and it's this very small grocery store. You can get beans and fruit and canned vegetables and broth soups and cream soups and butter, shampoo, but you can't get, you're not going to get any fresh produce from the senior center pantry. Once a month we have that produce on wheels that comes through, and so other things like that. We don't do bread, and sometimes you might get bread from Fish, sometimes you might not. We wanted to make sure that ours was very consistent so that people got the bare minimum, so to speak, to be able to sustain themselves. This is not a well-balanced diet, but it's enough to be able to survive on if absolutely necessary.
Matt McCarty is Executive Director of the Terrace at Ruby View, our senior and active lifestyle center. We're heading into spring weather with, all kinds of great things to look forward to, and including bingo tomorrow night. That's one of your big fundraisers.
Yes, ma'am, it is, and it's always so much fun. We do have bingo tomorrow night at the center, so that'll be here in Elko, and that's always on the second Thursday. So we're very glad that they come in on that. And if you want to win a lot of money, the Elko Bingo is the one to come in for. If you like our hot dogs that we serve at the senior center, the big quarter-pound hot dogs, they're gigantic, and it's one of our more popular meals. Then come on into the Elko one. If you're looking for the chance to win, regardless of how much money you're winning, Spring Creek is a much smaller room. You have much better odds, and Spring Creek is on the third Wednesdays of every month. And we're very appreciative, again, of the partnerships that we have throughout the community. Spring Creek Association has been so generous to allow us to utilize their boardroom on those Wednesday nights. And we also have a great partnership with the club out in Spring Creek. So you can go out early and you can get some food, or you can even order food to have them. Their wait staff brings it into you. They do a great job. And so it's really nice to be able to have that opportunity.
Well, how cool. You're playing bingo and you get waited on.
That's right.
Yeah, and I know they do have a bar out there. These are over 21 events, too.
That's right. It is a Nevada Gaming Control approved or authorized event, and so because of that, you must be 21, and we do take your name and your phone number so that if needed, if Gaming Control comes in and audits us, they know that, yep, Matt's not just pocketing this money he says he keeps paying out. He is really giving it out to somebody, and so it's nice to be able to have that as well.
Yep, it's serious competition for you bingo lovers. We know that the Terrace at Ruby View and then the club out in Spring Creek is definitely on the bingo map.
Yes, we certainly hope so.
Yes. So as far as other specific things, I know I just got a flyer, and Dixie Starbuck has been heading up the Ruby Mountain Squares, which is square dancing returned to Elko.
Yeah. She's been, that I know of, she's been doing this for at least the last two and a half years or so.
Cool.
And there used to be a group that did meet at the senior center a number of years ago.
Phil and Betty Aranguena.
See, and so it's we don't, that group no longer meets. There's just not enough interest that we have at the center. But Dixie is trying to bring that back, and so she does come out to the center every week. And you're welcome to come on over on Tuesday mornings from 10 to 11. and learn square dancing or just have fun with square dancing. And if the middle of the day doesn't quite work or late morning doesn't quite work, they also have at the Girl Scout house on Thursday evenings, they have a group as well. And I think that one has more people attending, and so you'll get a little bit more activity there. But I have no doubt that Miss Dave and Miss Dixie and Mr. Dave will be able to even if one of you shows up, they'll be able to get it going.
And I know they're recruiting quite heavily. I went to AT&T earlier this week, and another Matt, who was helping me, fantastic, by the way, and he said, "Oh yeah, Dixie was recruiting me for square dancing, and he's a younger person, so this is a diverse group." Absolutely,
this is not designed for those that are 60 and better. 60 and better can certainly participate. It's not as robust as some of the other dance styles that are out there, so it's certainly something that can be handled by someone 60 and better if you're worried about that. But it's not at all designed for that. Anyone can join, from little kids on up. 8, 9, 10. You're welcome to bring the kiddos out, and I think they would have a lot of fun as well. And Dixie does a great job of dressing up in her kind of period costumes, and so that's good to see as well. It's so much fun.
Another great interface, too. Then you can head on over to Western Folk Life Center and join their Let's Dance, because they do that, I think, at least monthly, if not a couple times a month.
So, yeah, I think it's twice a month.
Yeah, super cool. So see, we just planned out your social calendar for the next couple of weeks or so right
there
here.
You are.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. That's awesome. So I want to make sure we're getting to the topics that you were hoping to do today, if there's anything in particular or specific.
Well, we know that the podiatry clinics were quite popular. Some months not as much as others, but generally we had 20 to 25 people that would come in on the podiatry clinics. And so we just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that Dr. Patton will now be seeing patients only in his office. So we don't have the clinics at the senior center anymore with Dr. Patton, and so you're able to still make appointments directly with his office and be able to see him there. I'm not sure what the office visit fee is. It probably is not going to be the same as what it was at the center. Of course, we subsidize that pretty heavily. So I don't know how he'll manage that, but we do want to just make sure that he's still seeing patients. Everything is good with Dr. Patton. He did have a surgery recently, and so he's recovering nicely from that, is our understanding. So he's still there. He's still seeing patients, just not at the senior center anymore.
So go visit Dr. Patton, won't you? See him at his office, which is just, I think, off Colt Drive or right in that vicinity over by... behind the vet clinic, I think. Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
yes.
I think so. I that's who I saw when I broke my toe at one time. So, yeah, great guy. Wonderful to know, Matt, that senior center, that will be extended just back to his office.
Yep, absolutely. And yeah, he is off of Browning Way in that kind of that medical plaza, or what's turned into a medical plaza there past the Elko Glass.
And then another thing I did want to mention too, another great collaboration, is that you're helping support and encouraging your members to go to the Super Bowl Horizon Hospice event on April 19th.
Absolutely. Hospice is one of those things that is a wonderful asset to our community. Horizon Hospice does a terrific job, but it is one of those things that some people just don't want to talk about because of the very nature of hospice. And it's something that people are like, no, we don't want to talk about that. But it is such a wonderful and needed organization. I can't tell you how many times we've had one of our members who's passed and their family come in and just rave about how well Billie Jean and all of her staff do, and her volunteers. This is a volunteer organization that truly comes from the heart. This is a hard thing to volunteer for, to be there for someone's last days on earth. And for them to be able to do this and do it lovingly and with so much care and compassion, it is amazing. And yes, we definitely want everyone going to the Super Bowl. It's a fun event. So much good food, and you see so many familiar faces, and it's just a wonderful event. 400 plus people. It's amazing what they're able to pull together. And this year, the Senior Center is also putting in another entry. This year, I hope I can say this, it's going to be a lemon orzo soup. So a little bit unique. So yeah, come on over and have, get your bowl and fill it up with the different soups.
The soups never run out, too. It's miraculous. The way you said, we could have 300 to 500 people or so. It's about 400, as you said, and the soup just keeps on coming thanks to the generosity of the community.
Yes,
so, super
absolutely.
Cool. Well, and thanks again to your staff. I know that you were in the process of hiring some help in the kitchen, but you really do serve an amazing lunch. Tomorrow it's going to be spaghetti with meat sauce, and then Friday it's chicken cacciatore. There's just great variety here. Meatloaf next week, and then, you've got salmon with angel hair pasta the following week. So
yeah, we do try to have a variety in our menu. And we do have a new kitchen lead. We are really excited about our new kitchen lead. Liz Weaver has come in, and Liz also, if the name sounds familiar, she also runs the cookie encounter. She owns the cookie encounter, and so she makes some amazing treats. Our members are a little particular. Yuri has done an amazing job. They've loved Yuri for years on the multiple times that he's been there. And so I knew that bringing somebody else in would be a little touchy, and so it worked out well that I was able to tell them, guys, you already know Liz, because all of those cool treats that we get every few weeks from after craft shows and stuff, those are all Liz. She already cooks these. You've already eaten her food, so it's good. You know that she can do things well, and so yeah, we're very excited to have Liz join our team. Our kitchen staff has done admirably. I mean, just astoundingly well over the past 4 months without a lead in the kitchen. And so they've really stepped up. They've done a great job, both our kitchen staff and our front of the house staff as well. They've just really done a great job to keep our seniors fed and keep things going. But having that extra body, that one person, sometimes makes all of the difference. So expect some changes too. She's already said that she wants to make sure that there are more diabetic dessert offerings, and so she's also looking at perhaps changing up the menu a little bit more too, and adding some more new items in.
Oh, that's exciting. Welcome, Liz Weaver. That's fantastic. And the Terrace, again, you've got this complete kitchen. You went through a remodel there. I mean, that's, kudos to you guys for getting through that, and other expansion ideas or some plans out ahead of you too. So,
yeah. And we're so, again, grateful for the William and Pennington Foundation that helped us with the kitchen. Nevada Gold Mines assisted with grants as well. And then the Aging and Disability Services Division of the state of Nevada also helped. And so, again, multifaceted, multiple people and organizations coming together to benefit our seniors. And it is great to have that kitchen. We doubled the number of ovens, doubled the number of steamers. We use the steamers pretty regularly. It keeps the vegetables nice and fresh and doesn't boil out all of the nutrients, and so it works out really well. And now, also because of Aging and Disability Services Division, or ADSD, we're also getting we've gotten some new reach-in refrigerators and a reach-in freezer, and some warming ovens as well to keep our food, again, cold when it needs to be cold and hot when it needs to be hot. So we're really excited about all of those opportunities.
Great. Thank you, Matt. And of course, doing the so beloved Meals on Wheels, because those are the deliveries that are made to homes, and that's where some of our most vulnerable seniors are, whether it's a temporary situation and they're recovering, or they're not able to leave the home very often. This is where those nutritious meals come door to door. Yeah, absolutely. And we have 5 drivers now, and so we'll be starting a 4th route. We'll have 2 routes going out to Spring Creek. We're right at that cusp. There's a safe time limit of when we need to be able to deliver food, and we're right at that cusp. And if we get too many more people in Spring Creek, we're going to exceed that limit. And so we will be having a 2nd route going out to Spring Creek. So there's plenty of room for growth. So if you are in Spring Creek and you need meals, if you know of someone in Spring Creek and they need meals, it's pretty simple to qualify. We need them to be 60 and better. They need to be homebound. That doesn't mean that they're bedridden. It just means that they can't leave the house on their own.
They can't take the Get My Ride, which is another terrific partner. They can't use that to come in, and they're dependent on other people, whether that is, as you mentioned, temporary, somebody who's had a knee or a hip replacement, or somebody that just has a real bad bout of whatever it may be, and right now they just can't travel. That's fine. Or somebody who is on permanent oxygen and can't leave, or something else along those lines. So we want to make sure everybody knows that we have room, and now we're actually adding a second truck to go out there to give even more ability. We're delivering to about 130 people right now for Meals on Wheels. And then we have about another 30 to 35 that come in our drive-through option, which we also call Meals on Wheels. One we kind of separate out as home delivered, and the other one is more pickup. But about 160 people a day that we're able to get Meals on Wheels meals to, and it's our staff does an amazing job. They are so good and compassionate and caring, and we had two different calls from our drivers right before I got over here, and one of them said, I can hear her, but she's not, the door's locked, I can't get in, call her emergency contact. Do we need to call for emergency services? And then we, she happened to call back a few minutes later and say she was having a hard time getting out of bed, and she was yelling as loud as she could, but I could hear yelling, I just couldn't hear what she was saying. So again, it's just one of those things that we sometimes our drivers are sometimes the only person that these people see throughout the day, and so we want to be able to be a resource for families. If families are worried about whether their loved ones are okay, a simple meal is enough to just walk in and say, yep, everything was okay, and then head back out and give them a little bit of compassion and touch them a little bit, their hearts as we're visiting them through the day.
Thanks, Matt. That's great to know, that extra care and consideration and pair of eyes, as you said, just someone to help our senior population, especially those who are at home. So they're very good. Oh, absolutely. That's wonderful.
And on the Meals on Wheels, and this, I meant to segue into this, and I squirreled. I went off in another direction. You had also mentioned other expansion. We are hopefully going to be breaking ground on our Meals on Wheels truck garage soon. Same organizations, the William and Pennington Foundation, the Nevada Gold Mines, and the ADSD, State Aging and Disability Services Division, all have granted us funds to be able to build this new garage. It will allow for all 4 of our trucks to be secured. Unfortunately, we've had vandalism in the past, and so this will prevent that vandalism, give us a little bit of storage space as well, and hopefully be able to give us some additional parking space as we start clearing things out as well.
Wow, that's fantastic. So maybe construction soon. And people, hopefully they can appreciate and understand these are, it's not just a pole barn or something. I mean, this is a very nice construction project, and several $1,000s invested in it. Absolutely.
Yeah. This is a steel building, a couple of $100,000. It's not a pole barn. It's not something that's, kind of chintzy. It will represent the senior center well.
Yeah, very nice. And again, that's a lot of pride and stewardship, a lot of confidence in the Terrace at Ruby View from those who are contributing. So excellent leadership, Matt. That's very cool news.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
Absolutely.
I do want to mention something else, just not
Please.
necessarily directly for the center, but the Carlin Historical Society has their vintage hat show and dinner coming up. And so former Judge Terry Feasel, will be presenting to our group tomorrow on Spaghetti Day, because she had asked, what are some days? And I said, what? Everything revolves around the menu. Let's pick a good menu item, and spaghetti is a popular one. So if you don't know about the Carlin Historical Society Vintage Hat Show, and you have some time tomorrow, come on over to the Senior Center. We start serving lunch at 11:30. Like we've mentioned, it's spaghetti and meat sauce. It's going to be a great lunch. And then you can also hear what this event is all about, and that it does go back to raise funds for the Historical Society in Carlin. It's just terrific. I've kind of given all of that, and I've not given the dates. So April 20 is when they are going to be having their show. It's at 6 p.m., and it'll be at Pacini Hall there in Carlin, and only $20. You do have to have a ticket. But the dinner itself is only $20. It's amazing. And for those of you that enjoy an evening wine, glass of wine, there'll be a glass of wine included with dinner. So I hope you'll take some time to come out to that as well, because it's not directly for the senior center, but certainly anything historical we like to mention and certainly advertise and celebrate.
Absolutely. That's a lot of fun. There's some gorgeous hats, and the fact that they were preserved, some of them in these intricate hat boxes themselves. I mean, and Carlin is just doing such a great job, the Historical Society there. I know Ella Trujillo is now here working at the Northeastern Nevada Museum. She's assisting Tony Mendive in the archive. That's huge, and that means a great deal to Carlin. And as you said, Judge Fiesel, and I know Margaret, who sits on the council there, they're all very involved in Carlin's history, and thank goodness.
Yes,
so,
absolutely, because it's so easy to lose that history. Those we all are living, walking moments in time, and so if we don't act to preserve it, then we lose it.
We should mention too that Carlin does have a very nice senior center, right? Is it the Pleasant Center? Is that what it's called?
Pleasant is in Winnemucca.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
But the Carlin Senior Center, they do a good job as well, and we like the partnerships and the collaborations back and forth of trying to make sure that regardless of where the seniors are, that they're getting the services that they need. And so I love being able to work with the Carlin Center as well. And
we have one in Wells?
We do have one in Wells.
Perfect.
As well, and there's one in West Wendover, and that's the GAS Foundation, I believe, the Jazz Foundation. Miss Caroline over there, she does a great job, and they're also working on trying to get getting a senior center in Jackpot. They're working on getting a senior center in Jackpot as well, and so we like that one. Being able to help them. They brought some of their folks down so that they could see what our center was and what might work well for them and how to plan other things. So that was nice as well to be able to visit with them.
Oh, great, Matt. And it's nice. And for anybody listening, Elko does do outreach in Spring Creek. Spring Creek is not incorporated, even though it's the size pretty much of the city of Elko, or at least comparable, getting there. But they're not incorporated, so they do rely on the city for some services and certainly the county. But that's great that you, I guess I could just say that in the past, people would just accept the fact that, well, it's Spring Creek and we can't get Meals on Wheels. But you made sure it happened, Matt. When you became director, you just said, well, this is a project, then we'll make sure it happens.
We've got a really supportive board, and we had staff that we were able to go from there. And there was a need that needed to be filled, and it made sense for us to step in and fill that need. We'd love to look at a physical building out in Spring Creek at some point. It's not in the cards immediately, but maybe 10 years down the road or so, we can get from there. And everything starts a little bit small. We were talking about Carlin. Carlin's a smaller center. Barbie over there is looking to grow it. And again, if it helps our community, whether it's the community of Elko or Carlin or Spring Creek or Wells, the county itself is healthier. And we're all neighbors. It's amazing how small the world can be sometimes when you travel and you find people that either directly or somebody, one of our, Pedro Ormaza, in fact, was down in Texas, and he was just visiting with somebody. He was there for a convention, and he was visiting with somebody that was from South Dakota. As it turns out, their daughter and their cousin, once or twice removed, is in the same Rotary Club as Pedro and I. And just, again, it's just one of those weird things that happens. And so when you run into people like that, 1,000 miles away, it does make it that much more important for us to take care of our neighbors that are 20 miles away.
Mm-hmm. Elkoans, you meet us wherever you go.
That's right.
It seriously happens
Absolutely.
all the time. I'm always shocked myself too. Well, that is super cool. And Matt, I want to make sure we always give a nod to, or at least we're trying to dementia friendly, because that's also an ongoing concern for the community, and just in a way that we can help support one another.
Absolutely. We do have dementia friendly classes at least once a month. and that's physically at the senior center. And then there are also meetings that can be joined statewide via Zoom or other remote connectivity. And the Alzheimer's support group comes in as well now once a month, and that we've seen grow as well. Speaking of the Pleasant Center, Miss Jenny comes over from Winnemucca to help us go from there. And what I've described as the differences between those two is the Alzheimer's support group is for me seems to be more peer-to-peer, whether that's a loved one visiting with a loved one of somebody else, or someone with Alzheimer's talking with somebody else with Alzheimer's, and just having that peer-to-peer. Whereas the dementia-friendly, I think, is more of I need to understand this. Help me, with the educational side of it. What is the history? What is the
Could be a caregiver, maybe.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. A caregiver, somebody within the support system, absolutely, and it certainly could be someone with dementia. But generally, this is going to be one that has more of the cognitive, educational side of things, and the Alzheimer's support group seems to be more of that peer-to-peer and just let's visit and let's talk. And from a caregiver standpoint, I've been blessed that I've not had to work directly with someone that is in my family with dementia or Alzheimer's, but my grandmother did have it, and it's frustrating and difficult when you walk into a room and she calls you by a different name, or she doesn't recognize you at all, or he, your loved one, whoever it may be. And so those feelings get bottled up and it builds some frustration and some tension. And so being able to talk to someone and say, I just want normal, and for somebody else to say, yeah, we do too. This is the new normal, so let's talk about it here. It's just great to be able to have that resource, and we're so thankful that they brought it in to the center as well. And then I don't want to forget Java Music Club. That is another great thing that started with Dementia Friendly. Now it's kind of its own thing, but they've through music and through photos that get people talking about things, older photos. They've found that does help with the cognitive side of things for people with dementia. And so that one is one that certainly bring your loved ones that have dementia to the Java Music Club, because I think they'll have a lot of fun, and you stay as well, and you can have fun as well.
Matt, thank you so much for all that you do in guiding and leading and encouraging and inspiring people in our community who are helping our population of more vulnerable, but certainly some of the most accomplished citizens. I know we're looking forward to Elko Broadcasting Company is going to be up at the Terrace here. I think in next couple of weeks, we're going to do the senior to senior program in time for graduation again.
Yes. And our many of our folks enjoy that so much, being able to share their thoughts and their congratulations to our graduating class of seniors. And this year, there's going to be a little bit of a different spin as well. And so we're looking forward to that too.
Thanks so much, Matt. We are too. Thanks for the invite, and thanks for everything you do. And I appreciate you so much.
Well, thank you. We appreciate the time. We appreciate the community and all of the support that we get, as well as our partners. Have a wonderful day, everyone.